Can you tell me what the purpose of banks is? Well, to make money, of course. For the customers? No, not for the customer, for the banks. So why doesn't the bank advertising mention this? Well, it wouldn't be in good taste, but it is mentioned by implication in references to reserves of about $50 billion or so. That's the money that the bank has made. So they've made that money from the customers? I suppose you could say that. So they've also mentioned about $500 billion in assets or thereabouts. Is that money they've made also? No, not exactly. That's actually the money that they use to make money. I see. Do they keep that money in a safe somewhere? Not at all. They actually lend it to the customers. So they don't have the money? No. If they don't have it, how's it considered an asset? Well, they maintain that it would be an asset if they got it back. But they must have that money in a safe somewhere, right? It is a bank after all. Absolutely. They have about $1 billion in a safe. This is what they call a liability for the bank. But if they have it, how can it be considered a liability? That doesn't make any sense. Well, because it's not theirs. If it's not theirs, then why do they have it? Because it's been lent to them by the customers. So you mean the customers are actually lending the monies to the bank? Essentially, yes. They put their money into their account, so it really is just lent to the banks. And what do the banks do with it? Well, they lend it to other customers, of course. But you said the money they lent to other people were considered assets. Yes. So assets and liabilities are the same thing for a bank. Well, you can't really say that, but you just said it. If I deposit $1,000 into the bank, then it's a liability. But if they then turn around and lend that money out, it becomes an asset. At the end of the day, it's the same $1,000, isn't it? Yes, but then it cancels itself out. It means, doesn't it, that the banks don't really have any money at all? Theoretically. Never mind theoretically. If they don't have any money, where do they get their $50 billion in reserves or thereabouts? I already told you, that's the money that they've made. How? Well, when they lend money to someone, they actually charge them interest. How much interest do they charge? It depends on the federal funds rate and other variables. It can range from anywhere from 5 to 20%. That's their profit. Well, shouldn't that be my profit? Aren't they lending my money? It's the theory of banking practice that, wait a second, when I lend the bank money by making deposits, don't I charge them interest? You do, yes. You don't say. How much interest do I charge the bank? It depends on the federal funds rate again, say 0.5% or so, but that's only if you're not going to draw the money out again. Well, of course I'm going to draw the money out again. If I didn't need the money, I'd just go bury it in my backyard. They don't like you to draw your money out. Why not? If I keep it there, it remains a liability. Wouldn't they be happy if I took that liability off their books? No, because if you remove it, they can't lend it to anybody else. But if I wanted to remove my money, they'd have to let me? Absolutely. But suppose they've lent that money already to another customer, what then? Then they'd let you have somebody else's money. But suppose he wants his money too, but they've already let me have it, what then? You're being purposely obtuse now. Actually, I think I'm being quite acute. What happens if everybody wants their money at once? Well, it's the theory of banking practice that would never happen. So what you're telling me is what banks actually bank on is not having to meet their commitments. I wouldn't say that exactly. Of course you wouldn't. Well, if there's nothing else that you can tell me at this point in time, nope, that's it. Now you can go open your own bank account. Just one last question for you. Of course, wouldn't I just be better off to go off and open my own bank? So while this is a bit humorous, and the intention was to be humorous, sadly, this is how the banking world actually works. If you want to learn how to take control of the banking function in your life and eliminate the nonsense of this banking industry, go ahead and follow the link in the description below. Set up a call with somebody on my team.